This is the Oakwyn Podcast, featuring Morgan Brown and Michael Yu.
Welcome to the Oakwyn Podcast. I'm your host, Michael Yu.
And I'm Morgan Brown.
And I'm the Podfather.
And we have a very special guest today, Mr. Adam Graham. How you doing
guys.
today, Adam?
Very
Yes!
good. Thank you for having me.
AD's in the house. Adam G. AD. AG.
AG.
Has anyone ever called you AG?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. All the
yeah?
time. Yeah. My friends call me AG. And yeah, I don't know why everybody just kind of goes to AG, but yeah, it's pretty common.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like you're the guy that can get away with the initial name.
Oh, yeah?
You know
That's
what I
also
mean?
calling me MU.
That's weird.
I don't know if it just flows or what.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
It's weird.
It's like me and MB. Everyone calls me MB, and
Yeah.
I'm like, what? Okay. But you have
Right.
the AG going on.
Yeah.
That also stands for Attorney General. It's very
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
There
that's
you
very,
go.
very,
Well,
very
we're-
very
That's like,
distinguished.
we respect you
First of
and your
all,
litigation skills.
congratulations. You had a baby boy
Yes.
since the last year. And,
Yes.
and you're like dealing with this market, dealing with COVID, dealing
What's
with
the
baby.
young king's name?
Yes.
His name is Max, and yeah,
Sorry,
we're right in the middle of it right now. He's almost 6 months,
Wow.
and we found out he was we were pregnant right before COVID. I think it was like 2 weeks before the whole world blew up, or maybe
Wow.
actually it was longer than that. It was probably about a month before that, and yeah, so navigating how that new world was going to go, and
Right.
then navigating pregnancy for the first time, and then
Yeah.
navigating this business, and it's been crazy. Like I think maybe in time I'll look back and be able to articulate what this last little
Yeah.
bit has been like, because it's been huge ups and huge downs as well. But yeah, he's healthy, he's happy. We're really happy with him. He's learning to sleep, which is amazing, which is allowing us to be more productive.
Yeah.
So it's been awesome. It's been absolutely truly
I
awesome.
could barely tell that you must have put on a lot of foundation today because you don't look like that.
Oh, no.
He's like 3. What day are you in for sleep training? What day?
We're on day 5
Oh,
tonight.
okay. This is you're getting past the.
Yeah, the first
You know what I mean?
night was hell, and now we're like, last night he slept pretty much the entire night except for maybe like an hour throughout, which sounds like terrible if you're up for an hour without kids, but then
Yeah.
now with kids, it's like having only 1 hour that he's up is like a salvation. So we're really
from God.
It is.
It is a gift from God.
A gift from God. So we're really happy that he's kind of turning a corner there.
Right.
So fun.
How'd you guys come up with the name Max?
I don't really. Somebody has asked us that the other day, and I can't remember. I think we just went through like 1,000 baby names. They have those books, and so we kind of like couldn't settle on anything. And then Max, we both kind of just went Max, and we're like, yeah, I like the punch of the name, and it's like it's traditional,
Cute.
but it's cute, and it can be
Yes.
cute for a boy, like baby
But then
Max.
strong as a male.
But strong as a male. So we were like, it works in a lot of different ways, and it works with my last name, and like and it's Sunny's Korean, so it's easy to say in Korean. So we were just like, we kept on going back to other names, and it just kept on coming back to Max.
Yeah.
So
Is the full name Maximilian?
no, we were looking at doing that, and then we're like,
Like,
well,
if you're a Max, you got to be Maximilian.
I know. We name like, well, I'll say Maximus, I'll say Maximilian, like I'll give him those
cute,
nicknames.
cute.
But
I
his
like
actual-
Maximilian better.
I like Maxie. Like you kind of have like this like baby,
Whenever I think
cutie.
of Maxi, I think of Maxi Pad.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the only problem.
Yeah.
I do call him Maxie, but
You're
that's what I think
such a
of.
child.
too.
Yeah, I
It's
just
like,
think of,
It's okay.
it just goes right to menstruation. My mind just.
I think Maxie's cute.
You like-
Maxie?
yeah?
I don't think of that at all. You're just
Okay.
so weird.
Michael, I'm with you. I thought the same thing.
I had 3 sisters and a mom. Like, I was like, yeah.
It's like I call my son's name is Quinn, and I'm like always like Quinny, and everyone's like, why are you calling him? Like it's just like a cute
it's
name,
cute.
And then at that point you'll just like let it go.
Totally.
But
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So how has it been navigating that with because
Yeah,
both of
how's
you,
the balance been?
and also like Sunny, you're like
Is a realtor
It's a
as well?
realtor
Yeah.
as well. So how's that been?
Yeah, we're lucky. Like it's the best of and the worst of in some ways. Like we're lucky because we're so fluid with our time. We're so flexible. So
Right.
she's still working quite a bit, and I'm obviously working. So we can really like spell each other off. And sometimes she needs the afternoon to go and do something, and so I'll So it's a real coordination between the two of us on how to make it kind of work. But we're fortunate in that we have that ability to do that. The flip side is like, it would be nice if she was just off and it was like had Matt light leave and it was like that traditional like I work and she kind of just focuses on him, and this way we're like kind of all trying to do it all together. Like I said the other day, we're like half, like I feel like I'm a half realtor, half dad.
Yes.
And because I because she's working too. So overall, would I have it any other way? Probably not. I still like think this is a great way to do it, because I get a lot of great time with him as well too, and so I don't have to be 9 to 5 Monday to Friday, or even more so at a job. But it is a balance. It is fluid. We have to kind of fill in the gaps, and so it's a dance with us, but we've made it work really well so far, and I only think it's going to get better. So
I think so too. It just gets more comfortable, right?
It does.
Yeah.
Do you ever feel like your attention is split?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I mean, how can it not, right? Like, there's times where I would love to, do certain things in my business, and I just like, he needs attention, and maybe she's tired or she's doing something, and so I mean, do I feel like I'm like going all like gangbusters in real estate right now? No, getting better. I feel like the pregnancy and with the pandemic and all that was a lot more difficult than it
actual
is
child,
now. Than actually the child. Yeah. Like, now I feel like we're kind of like getting back into it a little bit more, but
routine.
with the routine and like it's just different. Sunny had somewhat of a difficult pregnancy as well too. So it was
what
like,
happened?
what didn't happen? There was a lot of stuff. I mean, anywhere from morning sickness to, we thought there was some issues with him, and so and a bunch of stuff in between.
He's
that.
healthy.
He's healthy. Yeah.
Healthy, happy. I saw him the other day. Super cute.
Yeah, he's a cute little dude. So we're very fortunate, but we had some real, like, it just was one thing after the other. We were in the hospital for a week before we delivered him, because there were some issues with her health again. So it just was like, I was in the business, but I was more of an order taker than I was going out and proactively finding the business. Now I feel like we're at that position now where we're settled with him, we're used to him, he's now sleeping, which is great. And so we're like, we're moving forward again, which is really good feeling in the business.
I think it's great to hear for a lot of realtors out there that are thinking of having a family, that it's, like, you've done it really beautifully, where it's so organic. And what I found with even like, whether it's a father or a mother having their first kid, it's like guilt or like fear the whole entire time.
Yeah.
And what it sounds to me is like, you're just getting this groove, and you have to just let it flow, right?
Yeah, you do. I mean, and sometimes I'll be busier and then she's not as busy, or sometimes she's really busy, so I help her out. And so, it's just like every day we talk, okay, what's on the docket for the day, or like the night before, what do you have tomorrow? And you just kind of like make it work the best you can. And so that's our situation. That's what works for us. Maybe that wouldn't work for some people, but for us it works, and I think we're both happy with it. So
it seems like you guys are fulfilling both your own personal goals and your family goals. So it sounds amazing.
Yeah, and isn't that great that this business provides us with that opportunity to do that? Yeah. I mean, we can turn it on as much as we want at times, and then we can kind of retract and do other things as much as we want at times. And last year was a retraction, and I feel like this year is more, going out and doing more of the business now that he's settled. And I mean, we're just so lucky to be able to afford to do that.
Oh, that's so amazing. And it's kind of also a family affair. Like, first of all, your dad was, I remember when you were just like a launch that you were having a baby boy, your dad was talking in the office about names and everything. Yeah. How has it been with him, like, working and like, obviously?
Tell us about the structure.
Yeah.
So I mean, I've started with my dad. Everybody thinks that I started and joined my dad's business, but we both started at the same time. He was retired, and then he kind of came out of retirement because he was bored, and he thought he'd like to be in real estate. And he actually wanted to be a realtor a long time ago, and then life changed, and so he didn't. But he thought, why not start? So he does it a lot of more part time than I do. I'm more fully in it. But I mean, he's great too, because he's fluid. His schedule is flexible. He absolutely loves his grandkids. He's got 2 now, so he's absolutely fully involved with being a great grandpa. Yeah. But he can help out with us too. So I'll be like, Dad, I need you to drop off keys tomorrow. I'm over here. Or Dad, I need you to help me out with an open house. Or so he's like a good like rover for our family, and he's more than happy to fill in when he needs to, whether it be being a grandpa, taking care of them, or being a realtor. And so it's a huge help. I can't articulate enough how much it helps us.
You have a great relationship with your dad.
Yeah, we do. We've always had one. That's what I hope to pass on to my son. So it's been great, and he always is there for me and for us. That's his calling in life is to be there for his family. So we know we can count on him whenever we need him.
So what have you learned from Don that you do for your
what
own
is
son?
what is the tip? What are the things that takeaways from
Yeah,
your dad?
I mean, it's tough to articulate because that's a really kind of deep question in a lot of respects. But I mean, I think, both my parents, my mom and my dad, showing up is number one. They were always there. They were all like, I went every baseball game. If he wasn't a coach of it, he was there. Every soccer game, he was on the sidelines. Like, he was just always there.
Really interactive parent.
Really interactive. We'd go to hockey games, when we were younger, and we'd have long drives from, I grew up in North Delta, so we drive from North Delta to the Pacific Coliseum at that time and have great, conversations and talks. And I talk about my days and what was going on in my life. And so, like, that really is that's the epitome of like how he's been with me. And that's what I want to be with Max is like always there, and always he knows that I'm there for him, and I can talk to him or he can talk to me about anything. So that's what my dad's been for me, and that's what I hope to be with Max.
Mike has to say something, and doesn't know what to say.
It's just that's beautiful.
I know. It's
Adam,
like
and
it's
you
so
know what?
beautiful.
Like I get the pleasure of working with Adam and Don as well. I remember calling Don to congratulate him about his future grandson coming. And what a fantastic line of great guys that Max is going to be a part of. But yeah, it's just really lovely to see that traditions passing from generation to generation, and also just like, being able to work closely as a family. Just kind of like what I'm hearing is from you is that you guys are really like a unit. You guys are really gelling together as a unit. And now how are you kind of how are you navigating through that? Is it pretty do you feel like it's like day to day, or is it like really organized? How do you kind of?
Yeah, there's no organization. I mean, I think for me it stems from me doing the business first, right? And he fills in. My mom's in the business. She works for Bosa in sales. Yeah, so she's in it. So it's really, I think it stems from a passion. We all really enjoy just real estate in general. And I think there's no better city in the world to do real estate than Vancouver. So we like doing it. So it's not like something that we have to really like put in a conscious effort and think about, we have to get up and go to work today. When I joined Oakwyn, I said to people, and I had a financial career before this for about 10 years. So, I would go to the office kind of 9 to 5-ish and be a part of that. And then I remember 2 or 3 weeks into the business and coming to Oakwyn all the time and going I don't feel like I have a job, in the best possible way. I'll go to the office, I'll say hi to fellow colleagues who have turned into friends, and one
of them turned into your partner.
Well, one of them turned into my partner. Yeah,
yes,
exactly.
And the mother of your child.
Yeah, and the mother of my child. And so there's no it's just I don't know, it just flows. I guess fluidity is such a huge thing for us, and I think when you do something that you really love, that is how you can describe it. It's fluid. You just do it. There's a passion to it. You don't think about having to go to work. In fact, I wish I worked more than I did, but obviously with life situations right now, it's not as easy, but that will change, and that will go back as well too. So, and I think that's probably very typical with anybody with kids. So no, I mean, for us, there's no you do this, and then I do this, and then you do this, and then I do this. It's just I'm going to do this. I need your help here. What can I do for you? It's all kind of very family style, which is...
It's a family style.
Yeah.
What I found, okay, first of all, when you first started and to where you've gone from now, let's take it right back. So first of all, I think you really hit the ground running when you got into the industry.
You took a fish to the water.
Yeah, you're just really natural in, and just from our perspective. What are some tips that you can give people? I know that this is the Oakwyn podcast. Yeah. This is the Real Estate Oakwyn podcast. Now having so much kind of perspective over it, what is like some of the tips that you would look back and say, I should have done this. I could have, if I could do this.
Yeah. I mean, so much, so much that I would change, and so much that I'm happy that I did.
Okay.
So, which I think is the case with anybody that starts. I mean, I had a meeting with a guy that's interested in becoming a realtor this week. So this kind of is in that vein. And I said to him, like, real estate's not a job, it's a lifestyle. So you've got to just go. Like, there's no like, I'm going to dip my toe in the water, or I'm going to try it out, or I'm going to like, it's like, you just have to immerse yourself into it when you first start. I said, you don't have anything, you don't have clients, you don't have anything started right now. All you have is time. So you have to spend all of your time showing people that you're doing real estate and spending as much time as possible doing that.
Right.
And I did it through social media. You can do it. You can pick up a phone call and
Right.
make a call, right? You can do it many different ways, but you've got to figure out a way to make people know that you're in real estate and do it 110% because there's 15,000 of us out there. And why are they going to pick you, Mr. Part-Timer, when they've got somebody that's in their face all the time telling them that they're doing real estate, that they've sold this, that they've experienced this, that they wrote a contract like this? Why would they pick somebody that's not doing it all the time? So
Exactly.
like my kind of feeling was, and I didn't have, and maybe I had a little bit of, not luck, but I was a little bit older when I started. I was in my mid 30s. So I kind of had built something off to the side, financial practice before this. So I had that kind of luxury of like knowing what that
How to build a business.
How to build a business.
Yes.
Right.
So now it's, I just took those skills and applied it to real estate. So it was just like I did, realtor tours where I'd go out on a Friday morning and like film all the properties that I saw. Because let's face it, like
You did that every Friday.
Every
Just so
Friday.
you know, everyone.
Yeah.
He was there every Friday. I watched him.
Rain, sun, snow, whatever. Like, because it showed people, oh, well, Adam's like looking at properties. He's seeing what's out there. He's in the business. Like knowledgeable. Like he can talk product, even though I don't have the quote unquote experience of the business. I'm out there. I'm grinding it every single day. And so I know I got clients from that chose me over their traditional, like been in the business 20 years realtor because they went, I think you can sell my place downtown more, or I think you can market my place better than yours. Yeah, they had confidence in me. And that was just because I just did that and I showed people that I was doing that day in, day out, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then again. So
one thing that you did was you actually brought, it felt like on a social media, and we'll kind of dive into this later, you really brought people on those tours, like as actual clients. Like you on Fridays, you would be like, and this is the 989 BD, like, this is what a 2-bedroom is. It's around this per square foot. This is what you're going to get for it.
Yeah.
Not every agent does that.
It was I wouldn't say it was rare, but not everybody was doing it at that time. I feel like now people have done like
now are starting to do it.
And they're becoming good
really
at it.
started that.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people were watching your feed to go on tour with you on Fridays.
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah,
it was a little mini tour. And like there's a television show called HGTV for a reason. People like to go into other people's homes, see where they live, see how they've decorated it. So let's do like a little mini version of that on my feed so that people can, experience that. And I've had people comment that I've never met before say, oh, I really like that. Or can you believe like that sculpture in that living room? Because there's like an element to it that's like a little bit like, it's funny. Like there's some stuff you see that you're like, why they decorated it like that?
Yeah.
So, so to have that sort of personality and that interaction with people, I think people really enjoyed. And so, like I always think like, what do people want to see? And like, it's not going to be like just solds and just listeds are fine, but they're boring. People, they're about you. They're not about like what people want to see. So if you can like show people, like I would go into a $5, $6, $7 million place that, and like I didn't have a client for it, but people want to see that.
Yes.
So let's show them that. And then they know that I'm looking at that and have some experience in that market.
Beautiful.
So
I think that's great. So
let's, if we can hear a little bit more about like your social media strategy, like you really like embrace that right out of the gate. And a lot of people are really shy and like, did you have any of that shyness? Did you have any of that like reservation to?
Yeah, I mean, ironically, I don't think anybody likes to hear themselves speak on any sort of medium. So yeah, I mean, we all did. I was in I did some theater when I was younger, so that helped me a lot with my like being able to talk in front of improv and talk in front of people and stuff like that. So that helped. But no, I mean it was just it was tough at the beginning, and of course you like I still delete like 10 takes of something that I've done, right. and I still like the bloopers which I would show, which got more likes and more comments than my actual like videos. You can see that I'm stumbling and I'm not perfect and I take way too much time. There's the day that I think I took like 2 hours to do one 1 minute video. It was just stupid. But like the idea is just to do it. Like, and again, especially when you start out, you have time. So like, don't be like, who cares about yourself? And I know that sounds kind of like weird, but like, no, you're way more hard on yourself than somebody else is going to be. So, just do it. Just try it. You're going to be fine no matter how you think you come across. The idea is just to do it, and then you'll get better at it.
So what is that doing it? What's the baby steps to that? Like if you were to tell someone to say, like you're a realtor, and they're all like, we want to get on social media, we want to actually take it. What would you suggest to these agents?
Just document everything you do. Don't think about that it has to be perfect. I see some videos out there now that are very slick, that people spend a lot of money on videos, and that's fantastic, and that looks great. But if you're starting out, just do it. Like, put the camera in front of your face and just talk, or just show something, or just talk behind, as you're showing something, talk behind it. Just do it. Like I can't impress upon you enough that it's intimidating when you first start, but once you get it going, it's easy. It's easy. So
and how valuable has that been for your business?
Yeah, it's probably been the number one thing that I've enjoyed, and I've focused on for my business. Like I know how much revenue I've tracked it, how much revenue I've made from it, and
would you mind sharing that?
Yeah, well, so it's about 120,000 over the years that I've made just from people that have reached out through Instagram.
It's amazing.
Yeah, which is like that may or may not seem like a lot, but to me,
is
like,
a lot.
Yeah,
free videos 120. Yes.
Yeah, for something a free medium that you spend $0. $0, and you don't sponsor. Do you sponsor ads?
No. Very, very, very rarely.
So very rarely, $0 in dollar investment.
Yeah. Pretty good ROI.
Yeah, that's I would say so.
Yeah, and so it's just by doing it. Yeah, that's not paid advertisement. That's not me going out and doing Facebook and spending $500 a month.
Right.
That's direct. That's just people coming through my inbox and saying, "Hey, can you help me with this? I see that you're doing this."
But then you're also creating that awareness.
Yes, totally.
As well, right?
Yeah, and I think I'm working with 2 people right now that are people that I've met a long time ago that have you add each other on Instagram and stuff that are using me versus I know using somebody else because I'm doing this and I'm in their face all the time. So that's $0 spent. That's a little bit over 120,000 of revenue. And why? So if you're a new realtor, that's what you have. That like you don't have money. You don't have probably right.
You have no money.
You have You don't have. I mean, the ad spends that some realtors spend are in the thousands.
They're astronomical.
Astronomical. So and they look great, but you don't have to look great. Don't feel that you're doing something budget, because it still will come back to you, and it's still, attention. You're still getting at people's attention.
I want to dive into this digital door knocking that you're kind of doing, and how that just came about in your whole sphere.
Yeah, I mean, I follow a lot of like influencers that are like, talk about social media marketing. So digital door knocking was just kind of one of these things that I started that was like, let's just meet people through Instagram. So I have a small, I would consider small following of a bit over 6,000 followers. And so I thought, okay, let's go to the community and, shine a light through my Instagram profile of people in the community that are doing things, whether that be car detailing or medical stuff or whatever that is.
Or business to business.
Or business to business. So I just went out and direct messaged a bunch of people and said, I'd love to come by. I'll bring cookies and meet you and, and advertise your business. No catch, no cost, just to meet. So it's just a way of like, again, networking, meeting people. It's in their environment, so they feel very comfortable. You're bringing cookies, so who doesn't want cookies?
Sweet.
Yeah.
So, it's just another tool. Again, if you're starting out, you have time. So how do you let as many people know about what you're doing? Well, you have to go and talk to those people. And in that medium, it's a little bit more casual than like going to a networking event where let's face it, everybody's trying to network with each other.
To get, yes.
Like
Business.
I've got a mortgage brokerage, I'm a realtor, I'm a financial advisor, I'm an insurance agent. Like we're all like trying to find business, for ourselves. This way is like, I'm just going to meet you in your, your place of work. I'm also going to meet people in your business as well too. And then you never know. I mean, somebody could say, yeah, you know what, I'm actually looking for a condo.
How's the response been and how's the results been so far?
So the response has been good. I did this more pre-COVID. Yeah.
Yes.
So I haven't had any successes lately because going into people's businesses at this point, for these sort of things is kind of, not a good idea. So to be completely honest, I haven't done it for a while. So I can't, but it was very well received in 2019. And I think in the future, it will be also well received. But
I've heard that people want you to continue that.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
Okay. Wow.
That's the call out for Adam.
I think,
Graham.
all that's like, I'm excited about what the future holds. I think I'm going to take what I've been doing or what I've done and kind of just, set it on fire a little bit and do something to the next level. So that will be a part of it. There'll be a lot of other things that we're going to.
What are you planning?
Yeah. Tell us what's in the future.
Arena.
Yeah. So I've kicked this around with Sunny and I haven't really talked too much about it, but I like what other agents are doing and let's say imitation is the best form of flattery. So, so I want to start looking at not doing just like Vancouver Adam, but rebranding Vancouver Adam, but as a media platform. So hiring a videographer, hiring a photographer, hiring a social media agent, hiring,
Scaling it.
Yes. And scaling it. So doing what I've been doing, but on a much bigger scale and talking about instead of me, Adam Graham, selling real estate, being Vancouver Adam Media. So I'm going to people with listings that are buyers, but mostly listings and saying, listen, you can expose it to MLS and that's fantastic. And you can do, and most realtors will do professional pictures and put it on MLS. Let's take it to the next level and have Vancouver Adam Media advertise your property.
I love this innovation, Adam.
So it's kind of a next level, like, because the whole goal I think in real estate is to get as many eyeballs on your property as possible. That's it. That's what realtors we can do. We can expose it to MLS, which we all do, and then what's the next level?
What are you doing that's
elevating
differentiate yourself, right?
Yes.
Right. And so let's do that, and let's hire people that can get as many eyeballs on a property as possible. And that is not through just MLS, but that is through a media company. So we're going to be starting doing videos, advertising a lot more on social media, doing what I've done, but just ramping it up and having professionals elevating it and then having professionals do, because I don't know the metrics on the behind the scenes. So we're going to hire a media company to do all that.
Extra professionals that are like really going to meet it up.
Totally. So when I go into a listing presentation, I've got somebody that's been in the business for 20 years and they do professional photos and they put it on MLS. I go, that's great. We do that. And then we also have a media company that's going to expose your brand, which is your home, to hundreds of thousands of people.
Right.
Do you think that people are changing the way that they're looking at a home now, like in general? Do you feel like, because now that you've just with COVID and everything and also selling their home, because we obviously haven't had very many people from internationally coming into the city. Do you feel like there's a kind of a switch? Yeah,
I think, especially in Vancouver, like we're such a real estate focused city, and in Canada, I think is a real estate focused nation. But Vancouver, I think, is ground zero for that. So, like, I had a conversation with a client of mine yesterday, and he's like, I've made X amount on your property. I'm gonna leverage that to buy the next one. And he's like, he's not in the business. He doesn't like. I haven't really like coached him on this.
Right.
He's just now like heard enough about what people are doing with their homes that now all of a sudden he's looking at like that as the next investment piece.
Right.
Beautiful.
So it's like where does that come from? Well, that comes from us having an exposure of Vancouver and having a city like Vancouver and people trying to get ahead in Vancouver, because let's face it, it's so damn hard.
Yeah.
The market's so on fire. How do you create wealth in this environment with, houses going for $2.5 million that are tear downs in some areas?
There are lots that are like tear downs.
Yeah, for that price. So it's like, okay, so I think people are becoming more open to how to build wealth through real estate in Vancouver and
Right.
doing a stepping stone. So I bought this, now I'm going to leverage this and buy this thing, and then I'm going to sell that. And
Like
then
climbing
build
the
that.
property ladder.
Climbing
right?
the property ladder,
Yeah.
which is like, that's in this city, I think we
That's
don't.
the only way to do it.
That's the only way to do it.
Unless
Yeah.
you're coming from
It's the only
the
way.
big bucks.
And that's like not like, I mean, not to, it's not like he's not sophisticated, but he obviously is sophisticated, but like
Yes.
he's not in the business sophisticated, and that's a sophisticated idea that he's had. So I'm like, yeah, absolutely, that's how you do it. And I think people are like not thinking about their homes right now as like a place to live. It is, but as, okay, in this city, how do I take advantage and climb the property ladder
Right.
to create wealth through real estate?
Yeah, it used to be like pay off your whole house.
Yeah.
And pay with cash. And
Yeah.
now everyone's just like talking about how can I build wealth in my in my properties?
Yeah.
And how can my portfolio look a little bit larger?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
the listing that I have this afternoon that I'm going to go, I'm talking about portfolio. It's a great portfolio piece for your real estate. Like that is like how people think, especially in this city now, about real estate. It's not, when I grew up, it was like we buy a nice home, you pay off the mortgage, as you said, Morgan, and then you're
Done.
you're done.
You're done.
Yeah.
You're done. You're done.
Freedom 55.
Freedom 55, and then you just sail off into the sunset,
Yeah.
maybe downsize and take some equity and live off that.
Right.
Now it's like, especially for younger people that are trying to
Yes.
figure out a way to like get into a house, it's okay, how do I do this now?
Yeah.
Because I can't just put
There's
down.
a bigger barrier to entry now.
It
Yeah.
is. It's huge. So
Yeah.
people are thinking outside of the box, and so I think as realtors we have to help people, understand what what the opportunity is in this city, and then help them achieve that.
And I noticed that a lot just from your last year that you're kind of advocating recreational properties.
Yeah.
Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's just I came again from a financial advisory background, and I look at things like how much return you getting on your investment, and you get obviously a lot in terms of the equity in your home and the value of the home growing, but like the rental rates based on the property that you own are not that great. So I looked at like, okay, well, where can you make any money on the rent, not just on the value of the property growing. So, recreational, especially, let's face it, we live in one of the most beautiful provinces in the country and cities in the world. So, we have Whistler, we have Tofino, we have Victoria, we have Kelowna. We have a lot of recreational properties, places that have recreational properties that I think are going to expand and grow. And also to short-term rentals, what you can receive on a monthly basis from a short-term rental versus long-term rental is like sometimes 2, 3, 4 times as much. There's a lot more maintenance to it, so there's costs to it, but the opportunity that you have for rental rates in that market is huge. So I've looked at that. I've bought one last year.
Yeah,
in
put your money
Whistler.
where your mouth
Put the
is.
money where the mouth is.
like
Actually, we bought
it.
2 last year.
Oh, good.
So that's us exactly putting our money where our mouth is. We see the opportunity, and then let's face it, right now it's slow, and we've had to fund those properties for the last little bit. But when things change, you can imagine what travel is going to do in
I
this
know.
province, and oh my gosh, it's going to be
Yeah.
crazy.
So what are your predictions of the future market?
Talk about that.
I mean, it's tough to say, it's going to get so much hotter with COVID going away,
Yeah.
because honestly, I think we're all already there. Like, I think with COVID kind of more in the rear view than it is ahead of us. We're going to see the market still take off. Interest rates, I think this market is fueled by interest rates. That's what
Yeah.
I think the bottom line is as long as money's cheap to borrow, people are going to borrow it. So I see a real spike continuing with COVID, and people be getting more confidence that the world's not going to implode. And then I think as they raise interest rates, maybe things may tail off. But I mean, that's crystal ball stuff. And I said at the beginning of COVID, like, that's it, like market's tanking,
Yeah.
like taking a
So
year
was
off,
I.
it's over.
Yeah.
And then
I was
look at where
like
we
looking
are.
at my other skill sets.
Mike was
Not
going on a
many.
lot of power walks.
Yeah. I mean, I think we were all looking in the mirror and going, this may stopped the industry for a
Right.
bit and look at what it's done. So I try not to make predictions. Like people always ask, I'm sure you guys too, and me, like, what do you think is going to happen in the market? And I just go, I have no idea. No idea.
No, yeah. This is what's going to happen. We don't know. No.
We don't know.
I find that with that buying power, I've been following, Bank of Canada. There has to be a place where, because the interest rates are so low, the prices are obviously stemming, they're going up. How hard it is for that first-time home buyer to actually come in. Like, I think there's going to be a time, like, just side note, that it's just going to be way too expensive for first-time home buyers, because now the prices are just going higher and higher and higher. It'll be interesting to see what the government does for that.
Yeah, and I worry because a lot of the times when the government's tried to like cool things off, it hasn't helped the lower end of the market. It's actually more helped the higher end of the market. So I'm really concerned that, like, I mean, with the stress tests and all that, I understand in theory what those are, but a lot of the times it's gone from somebody that can afford a $600,000 place to $550,000, and that doesn't seem like much, but over, like, as you want to scale the property ladder, that does affect your future values. So I'm worried. I think the best thing they can do, especially with the jobs numbers that just came out this morning, which employment is back down, or unemployment, I should say, is way back down. I think that they're going to look at that and go, okay, things seem to be going and turning. Let's start looking at interest rates. Yeah, I think so. And I think that will help the market the most, because at any time you've kind of seen rates go down, coincidentally, wow, the market goes on fire, and this is no exception. So.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah.
So I want to know one thing from Adam. What was your first deal like coming out of the gate? Because I think this is one of those ones that I never ask our guests. I'm always like, what? There's always a memorable piece to this.
Yeah, I mean, my first deal, so my first deal, I think, was with an Oakwyn agent.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure it was
lucky.
with Thomas Beeson.
Oh,
yeah.
cool.
I love it.
Yeah. It was, again, that was in 2016, 17. They all blend together now, but either end of 2016 or I think beginning of 2017, to be honest. And I think we sold it like almost off market-ish at that time, because he bid way over. We had a price in mind and he went way over because of the market, because of the way it was. I think it worked out for my clients and it worked out for him as well too. So it was an easy kind of segue into real estate, because we kind of worked together on it, and it won for both parties, I think. So that was my first deal. But I remember it took a while. Like, it took me, I think, 6 months to get my first.
Hear that, people?
Deal.
Hear that?
Yeah, it's very common, and it's tough in the first little bit, but and then things start rolling, but you've got to build that momentum at the beginning.
Great. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Mine was my first deal was with Jay McInnes, another Oakwyn agent, and it was very funny, and I think he overpaid, which is great. Because I was a listing agent.
School, hey?
He just needed to know who I was.
Yeah.
He's a good friend, everyone.
Yeah,
but.
Jay, we gotta have Jay on the pod.
Yeah.
My first deal was with Glenn Feldstein.
Oh, nice! I love Glenn.
And I don't know him. No.
Yeah, he's you know what? You guys
Lofty.
look. You guys look actually a little.
No,
bit.
they don't.
No. Okay. Okay. But yeah, like, it takes you back. But I just speaking about first time home buying though, just like I think just like what Adam was saying, climbing that property ladder is something that people are not like. I think just wrapping your head around that concept is something that we as agents should really educate our clients to talk about, and specifically getting into the market. Like, I bought my first place in the suburbs. Like, I couldn't afford Vancouver, so I then kind of climbed up the property ladder. And so, and I was really happy with that, because I didn't I think it's always that understanding of expectations and kind of like where things line there. So, I'm always really conscious of being able to have that conversation with people. And I think as agents, you don't want to disappoint someone saying that, like, but you don't want to give them unrealistic expectations as well. Like, you're gonna get that prime Yaletown condo for $400,000. Like, it's not gonna happen.
Yeah, I have a huge amount of empathy for people that are trying to get in now, because it is difficult, and especially if you're if you scrape together as much money as you possibly could, it's tough. And that's what I always try to say is, like, this is not going to be your dream property. Like, if you're looking at $500,000, even $600,000, which sounds crazy, but that's entry level downtown. Like, this isn't going to be your dream dream, but it's a start. And so live in it for 3-5 years, pay it down a bit, maybe grow it. It's better than renting where you have no equity and you're just basically paying somebody else's off. And then in 3 years, 5 years, then we talk about that next place. And then it's like, and then maybe if they have a spouse at that time, then it's like, okay, let's pool. And like it's just a start. Just get in, get a start in the market, and then work your way up, and you'll eventually be okay.
I think that's a real healthy perspective.
It's the only way to be, especially in this city.
Especially
I think
in this city.
This has been a pretty challenge. I have seen people like in our time just being completely priced out, and that's the hardest thing to see, because then they're like, we can't get in.
It's
and
tough.
then they end up leaving.
So Adam, if you were to give some like tips to an agent that is getting started in the business, what would those be? What would be the top two?
Yes.
Top two. Well, I feel like I've kind of talked about it a little bit with regards to, getting in. But yeah, I mean, number one would just be immerse yourself into it. So like there's no part-time, dive right in. Like just there's no part-time agents in this business. There are, but they're not very good. To be honest, like I've done deals with part-time agents and you can tell that they're part-time. So you have to absolutely, you only thing you really have when you start is time. So you have to spend all your time doing it and immersing yourself into the business. And if you do that, that sets you up for the greatest amount of success. And it's not easy. It's not like people say people look at it and think it's an easy business, and they see, some of our commission checks and go, oh my gosh, like if I just do like 6 deals, I'm making the same amount that I would have made at my 9-to-5 job. Right. That's not the way it works. Like you don't just do 6 deals and like they fall from the sky. Right. You have to grind. First year agents, that's sometimes what they do is six deals, and they've like grinded, and
that's a full year.
That's a full year for some people. So like it's not kind of maybe dipping my toe in. It is like jump all in, swim as fast as you possibly can. That's number one. And then number two is, I guess, don't be afraid to let people know what you do. So, and however that is, like whether you're picking up the phone all the time, whether you're, on social media all the time, whether you're, talking to past friends or families or whatever. I mean, you have to let people know and expose yourself to as many people. It's a simple business, but it's a hard business. And you can set yourself up for success by just working your network as much as possible. And I guess too, maybe number 3 is talking to as many successful agents as possible.
Did that help you?
Yeah, it did help me, because I learned kind of what they did and how they were doing it. And sometimes I would go, it's not for me. I don't want that business.
Right. Can you tell us a story behind that?
Well, I can't point to one story, but I can point to just I would come into the office all the time when we were at headquarters, and I would just sit upstairs. They called it like my perch, so I could like see over top, because we have a big office at headquarters, and people would just like come out of their offices, come by, vent, literally,
yes, I know,
vent.
I was one of them. Like, this was crazy.
Yeah, and so like I got like a little bit of a crash course in what other people were doing at that time. So it wasn't like I took out a bunch of agents and kind of learned, or joined a team and learned, and those are all great ways of doing it too. But by just like being there, showing up, putting in the time, I learned what all these agents, and let's face it, in the office that we had, there was a lot of successful agents. And most, if an agent had an office, they probably were pretty successful, because they were paying for an office.
Yeah.
So, so it was just a matter of like people coming by and me learning, that, or like this, or I should do this, or like, there's this pre-sale going on, maybe I should go to that, or like this seminar's, there's a seminar going on downstairs.
Some osmosis happening.
Totally. Yeah. So I
come
just
in the office. That's definitely what I'm hearing.
Yeah, and it was just for me, like, and there's a limit to that. I don't think you should spend all your time in the office, but like there's a limit to, but there's an ability to learn from the people around you, and especially with that Oakwyn, it's a very collaborative office that you guys have built, and that's what you've kind of, your foundation is building upon that, and helping each other and all the rest. So people were more than willing to come out and talk about their days and like ask me how I'm doing and like what I'm doing, or maybe you should be doing this, and so I just learned through that, and so that's maybe another little tip.
That's awesome. And you've built a pretty solid community at Oakwyn, at the brokerage. Obviously, you met your wife, your partner there.
Yeah.
Good friend group. Like you
know,
guys are in that
what was
special
that Oakwyn
pod.
University? You guys all did it together. Can you share that experience a little bit with us, Adam?
Yeah, so we went through the Oakwyn University. That was when we first started, and
2015,
2016,
right?
Yeah, and then I really kind of figured I felt like I started in 2017 because I just joined at the end of 2016. So we a lot of really good friends there. I mean, a lot of like-minded people. We're all kind of downtown. We lived this similar lifestyle at that time, especially, and so you know it's great because you can just like I said, I don't feel like I went to the office and like I went to the office. Like I went to the office to like see people that I liked and friends and run into people, and it was like it never felt like a job. It still doesn't even feel like a job to me anymore. Yeah. There's moments of time where I'm sure we all get frustrated and we're all like, oh, I don't want to write this contract that I know is going nowhere, and it's just a big waste of time. And these
I told you so.
strata documents and all that stuff. I mean, there are moments that are of frustration, but it doesn't feel like a job when you work with like-minded people and you enjoy the people's company, and so it's been a great collaborative, fun, friendly environment that I've been a part of, and thanks to you guys for building it as well.
Oh, I think you lucked out. Like there was that one group.
That was such a fun group.
That was such a fun
teaching
group.
You guys,
because we've seen so many different groups.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Your group is very fun. Yeah, and it was all
Gina,
just random.
Sunny, Jovi.
Yeah. Chris. Like there was like a good vibe going in.
Yeah,
there.
I mean that was I think Oakwyn had like 100. I think I was like at 108 or
you were like
something
110, 108.
Yeah,
I remember
something
that.
like that. Yeah. And so like I felt like it was just really like you guys were just kind of taking off. Like I remember when I joined Oakwyn, I don't even know how I found you guys, to be complete. I think it was like through a Facebook ad or something like that.
It was Facebook ad.
Yeah.
It was like an advertisement, and then your dad came in.
Yeah. And we were like, let's try this this other brokerage out that we don't know much about at that time. And so I liked the vibe. I like everything you were doing. I like the branding. It just felt like a fit of like people that I was like, oh, I like these people. Like I would go into other offices and it was like, like literally like, here's our bank of phones that like you can come in and phone people at. I was like, what is this? Like Glengarry? The rotary phones. Like I was like, that's not this. Like, so it was just so great to go into that environment. And I came from like the financial industry, which is very like button up and
pretty old school.
And like, and I was looking for a complete change from that. And this, I went into those offices and I went, that's kind of what I've experienced. And then I went into Oakwyn. I was like, yep, no, different. That's what I'm looking for. And that's when I joined. So it was a fit.
Yeah.
We're so lucky to have you a part of our community. Like you're just such an inspiration to so many people. I hope you know that.
Yeah. And time has just flown right by.
I know. I'm like, what?
It's crazy.
This is crazy.
And you know what? And we're just so excited to see what's in store for your future, Adam. And
our first Oakwyn baby.
First Oakwyn.
That's true.
That's right.
Yeah.
Max's middle name is Oakwyn. Right? Max Oakwyn Graham. Don't worry about your dog. Your dad. Okay, but on that note, guys, Adam, let's say someone wants to get in touch with Adam and shoot, have a coffee or shoot.
Yeah. So I mean, the easiest one is my Instagram, which is at Vancouver Adam, which is a very easy one. Right. You can also email me at adam@grahamrealty.ca, or obviously, I guess my phone number too at 604-626-9553, and I'm always happy to shoot the breeze and talk about the business or buy, sell, or whatever. So
awesome.
No.
Well, you're very, very, very happy that we had Adam here today.
Thanks, Adam. I appreciate you being here. And thank you guys for listening to the Oakwyn podcast as well, featuring Adam Graham today.
Rate us 5 out of 5.
Right, rate us 5 out of 5 on whichever platform you're listening to it on. And if you're interested, if you're an agent out there and you're interested in joining Oakwyn, please reach out to us at oakwyn.com/join and type into the message box pod 2021 and you'll get a free piece of mystery swag.
Thank
you guys so much. Okay,
Thanks, guys.
Thanks so much. Bye.